Hello, I'm Tom Porter, Choir Director at the University of Mary. Today we're going to talk about auditioning for the tenor part for the North Dakota All-State Chorus. The first thing that you want to do is be familiar with the audition sheet. Know what you're getting points for and the things that you want to focus on to have a successful audition. So the first thing that you do when you walk in the room is you sing your solo. Your choir director or your voice teacher is going to help you pick out a solo appropriate to your voice. Your job is to learn it, to learn every aspect of the music, and to sing the part of the solo that best shows off your voice. Talk to your choir director and determine what that is, because it's not necessarily right at the beginning of the piece. Find the 2 minutes of music that best shows off you. Even though you're going to be in a room with just one other person, walk in, stand tall, be confident. Project your voice into the room like you're on a stage. And pay careful attention to all of the aspects of the music. So if you look down the sheet, you're being judged on tone quality and breath support. Make sure you're taking in air, that you practice breathing, and that you practice singing with your most beautiful classical tone. You're also being judged on technical aspects like pitch accuracy, rhythm accuracy, phrasing accuracy. Make sure your releases are on time, just as they are in the score. Make sure that all pitches are correct, all rhythms are correct, and the phrase lines that are shown in the score, either by the slurs or by rests at the end of those lines, are all paid attention to. Your interpretation of the music is also important. If it's a joyful song, be joyful in your singing. If it's a somber song, bring that emotion. Attention to score markings. Sometimes there are scores that have no markings. They have no dynamic markings. They have nothing. It's all up to you. So you have to lend your own ideas to the score. Your diction is very important. Sing like a choral singer or like a solo singer with forward consonants that project into the room. The quality and difficulty of the piece are going to be determined by your director, so trust them to choose music that's appropriate for you. And if you're doing something in a foreign language, listen to a YouTube video of a native singer, an Italian singer for Italian, a German singer for German, and learn that enunciation according to the language. The second part of the audition is the vocalise. And the vocalise counts almost as much as your solo. So you've prepared 2 minutes of a solo, every detail, and now you have about 8 measures of music that you need to bring. Take the time so that you can sing this 8 measures just like it's a solo, with every detail attended to. I'm going to play through the tenor vocalise for you, and then we'll talk a little bit about the different aspects. So you'll get that pitch and probably that chord in order to start. And your tempo marking on this is 72. So that's about right here. Sorry about that. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here it is. And release on time on beat 3. So different aspects besides the notes and rhythms here. We start out piano, but sing with enough tone so that we can hear your lovely voice. Piano with a slight crescendo. In the second phrase, in the second measure, breathe at the end of the measure. In the second phrase, we come back down to piano. In the fourth measure, breathe after beat 2. and then you're at a mezzo forte dynamic. On the second line, breathe after beat 2, and you're at a piano dynamic. In the third measure, breathe after beat 2, and you're at a forte dynamic. In the third measure of the second line, breathe after beat 2, and then you have a retard to the end, still forte. The Italian vowels and consonants stay consistent throughout. Da, me, ni, po, tu, la, be, da, me, ni, po. So it's not po, it's not be. All of them are pure vowels. Ni is ni, me is me, not me, me. And it's also not me, me. Da, me, ni, po, tu, la, be. So the first two measures, we have piano marking, slight crescendo, and then a breath at the end of two measures. Da, me, ni, po, tu. Breath. La, be, da, me, ni. Decrescendo there, and then a breath again. Mezzo forte. Po, tu, la. Breathe. Be, da. Piano marking. Breathe again after da, then forte. Me, ni, po, tu, la. And release on beat 3. Slight retard on the last triplet. Here's the exercise once again for you without my commentary in between. Release. So create music in those 8 measures, something that sounds just as important as your solo because you get just as many points for that as you do for your solo. The final part of the North Dakota All-State Audition is the sight reading. So the important thing to remember with the sight reading is that you can do something. You can do something in the sight reading section. Don't worry about doing everything. Do something. I encourage students to go into it and to sing on a neutral consonant and vowel, like do or la or ta, rather than solfege or numbers, unless you feel very, very proficient in those, because as you get into the more difficult sections of the sight reading, that can throw you off or make you lose time, and then you'll get points marked off. So, sing on a nice neutral syllable, clean rhythms, clean tone. You get points for the things you get right, whether it's melody, the notes, or rhythm. So if you look at something and you say, well, I can do the first measure, it's just do, do, I can do that. But the second measure, I'm not sure about those leaps. So maybe in those measures, I'll go do, do, ta, 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 because I know what the rhythm is, but I'm not sure what the notes are. Get what you can right to get the most points. It's always a good idea to remember where the do is. If that's the pitch that's given to you at the beginning, it's probably the first pitch of the exercise and the last pitch at the end of the last 8 measures. So check it out and find those common things. A whole note gives you as many points for the measure as 8 eighth notes. So do what you can. Find the things that you can do in your 20 seconds and do them correctly. And don't worry about the other things. If you need to just count time and come back in where it's something familiar, that's okay. You can do that. After the 8th measure, the judge is going to stop you, give you a new starting pitch, and you go right on for the second half of the exercise. You don't get another 20 seconds to look at the music. So in sight reading, be confident, sing with great tone, sing with clean rhythms, and go after the things that make sense to you and that you think you can be successful at. Good luck with your All-State audition. I look forward to seeing you in the choir next spring.